I had a 6-0 undefeated run in a 180-player Pokemon Pocket Tournament, making the top 16 cut with this sweet Marshadow Hitmonlee 8 basic Pokemon mashup that you're going to see highlighted today. The tournament rounds are going to cover me beating every major matchup in the game right now, and I think this deck has legs and counterplay into all of them. Hitmonlee is one of the best cards you can be playing against Gyarados, pressuring their Magikarp off the board before it evolves, and kicking their Greninja to death while it sits behind that Dirtle Dragon hoping for safety. Marshadow is an incredible finisher against Pikachu EX. Its revenge kicks up to 120 and clears Pika in one go, and with a single tap from Hitmonlee, it can clear things like Zapdos as well. Farfetch does a lot of heavy lifting you're going to see in these games. Also, it just starts putting constant pressure on the opponent early, forcing them to knock it out and allowing Marshadow to trigger that revenge nice and early. Finally, we round things out with Mew and Tauros as heavy hitters that we charge up with bigger amounts of energy that are stellar into things like Celby and Mewtwo that are hitting for lots of damage with EX Pokemon. One card I want to call out in my utilities is the inclusion of Leaf. You'll note that most of my cards have a retreat cost of 1, sans the Tauros, but the Leaf is purely here because we basically want a third copy of X-Speed. Being able to shuffle around Marshadow, Hitmonlee, and Farfetch at will without losing energy gives you a lot of finesse to outplay your opponent no matter how they position their cards on the board. Similarly, 2 copies of Sabrina are instrumental here because being able to shuffle things back and forth with your opponent's bench makes Hitmonlee that much more deadly. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed this more focused tournament gameplay. The top 16 hasn't played out yet, but these Swiss rounds were phenomenal, so I wanted to get them up to you ASAP. Enjoy. All right, we're playing against the deck to beat. Gyarados, Greninja, Druddigon, 2 Misty, 2 Leaf, 2 Pokeball, 2 Research. First energy advantage is good for us, assuming we can find a Hitmonlee ASAP. Stretch Kick does 30 to one of my opponent's bench Pokemon. Clears Magikarp, right or not. With Hitmonlee already up, I think I Pokeball before I research, so I'm not really looking for any other basics in particular. No red card here. No Sabrina. No threat of knocking our thing out. No reason to, no reason to play another bench out here. We have a lot of different basic Pokemon in our deck, so until we're ready to start attaching energy to them, we don't really need to commit them to our bench in advance. They could leaf this Druddigon out and then put the Froakie out to stop us from Stretch Kick again. We're going to keep working down this Frogadier. We'll put Marshadow out. Do this. They put an energy on here, which would imply that they don't have Leaf. And with no Sabrina, I don't have a reason to put out another basic Pokemon here either until we want to attach energy to it or until we might want to put it up after they knock out our active. So now if they retreat to the Frogadier without Greninja, we knock it out with Marshadow. And if they leave it back on the bench, we just get to keep Stretch Kicking it. And they've deployed Magikarp at this point, so we get to go ahead and take a knockout point there. They're going to damage our Marshadow here. That makes sense. No potions in the opponent's deck here. I am simply going to start getting another Marshadow queued up here. Gotta clear the Magikarp ASAP. And energy on Marshadow here. No, yeah, I don't think there's a reason to put any other bench Pokemon out here. Like, we just keep hitting them here. This is what our deck's designed to do. Hitmonlee is designed to punish the one-dimensionality of this Gyarados deck. And they have no potions at this point. So the second Hitmonlee in my hand tier means that this game is over. We get to Stretch Kick, knock out this Magikarp this turn so they can't evolve it, and then our second follow-up Hitmonlee is guaranteed to clear this other Greninja, giving us our third knockout point. When we play the second Hitmonlee out here, it should be a concession from them. Potions, no blue, just boo-hoo-hoo. Hitmonlee taking all of the knockout points. I guess we could let Marshadow have the last laugh here. They can technically retreat to the Greninja, so they're not on board. Oh, Revenge actually isn't lethal here, because they didn't knock my opponent Pokemon out with an attack. It's funny. Stretch Kick still gets them. Clean first game. Exactly how we drew it up. We're definitely leading on Marshadow and not Tauros. No Hitmonlee is not ideal. They led on the Magikarp this time around, but that means if we draw or find Farfetch'd, we get to go ahead and knock it out right away. So 2 out of 15, and then 2, 1, and 3. There's 6 basics in my deck. And if they leaf the Magikarp out, it's the same thing, only Hitmonlee instead. So this is 40% now, 2 out of 5. Fortunate. Get to evolve into Gyarados now. But I do get to kick the frogs in the back at least. Unfortunate that we lost our 40%er on that Pokeball. Maybe Tauros plus Marshadow can pull down a Gyarados without it. Alright, do you have your copies of Misty? So how's the math here work? They put a second, I put my first energy on, they put their second energy on. I put my second energy on, they put their third. I put my third on, I hit them. Think I'm better off powering up Marshadow? I think the plan here is hopefully draw another Marshadow, and then Marshadow hits for 100 and then 100 on this Gyarados. And the EX knockout is lethal. Farfetch'd should be a good draw here, too. That could still be a Farfetch'd. Because if I draw Farfetch'd, I get to hit the Gyarados twice for 40, and then the Marshadow can finish. There's the Duck. So if they don't hit on a Misty Heads next turn, this is enough to get across the finish line. Because once they knock out the duck, the Marshadow is primed and ready to go. They're leafing the Gyarados out. Okay. I mean... now I leaf my duck out, and we're Hitmonleeing? But the question here is, am I Hitmonleeing their Gyarados or their Magikarp? I think I'm Hitmonleeing the Magikarp, because they don't have any sustain. So they're not going to be able to attack me with Gyarados next turn, because they can't Misty and Leaf. Meaning I'll get to hit this at least once. And if I hit this at least once, it means that Giovanni plus Marshadow finishes it. Alternatively, I could also start attacking this Froakie. They have 8 cards in their deck. Research. They hit their second copy of Leaf, and I don't hit the Froakie. I don't hit the Gyarados, I could be in trouble. But if they hit Runner, Frogadier into Greninja, we could be in trouble. Sorry, my opponent said GG in the communication between us, but then didn't actually leave the match. Which is truly a decision they are allowed to make. Very, very weird behavior. So, good chance they have Greninja here. But I have Hitmonlee with another Hitmonlee in hand, so we're going to get that knockout before they get down to it. But, yeah, I'm sure their GG is just them being a little frustrated. This matchup seems impossible for them for a variety of reasons. And it's worth noting that we were unlucky and didn't have Farfetch'd on one. We wouldn't even be playing a real game if we would have hit our 40% or to hit the Farfetch'd on the first turn of the game. I don't think they have any avenues to win the game from here with us on 2 knockout points. Burn Pokeball. Nothing left. Because even if they get rid of the Marshadow at this point, the Mew is charged up and ready to go. So this is them hoping to take the energy off the Mew, which they actually hit the variance to get the energy off the Mew, but we have the Giovanni, and they know statistically that we're going to have that. Playing against Mewtwo Gavor this round. 1 copy of Mew EX as a 5th basic. Big spread of 1-ofs, 1 Sabrina, 1 Giovanni, 1 blue. 2 copies of Leaf, 2 Mythical Slab. Going first is not ideal here. We'll definitely want to lead on Farfetch, though, I think. Dig in with the Pokeball. Another Hitmonlee is not ideal here. If they play Ralts out, which is likely, ideally we would like to pull an X-Speed or a Leaf next turn so we can crack the Ralts with Hitmonlee. I think I want a Sabrina to just start hitting the Mewtwo. It's close though. They kind of want to put the Mewtwo up next turn anyways, but this means I'm not marking damage on the Mew that's not relevant. With the Ralts up front, there's no X speed in their deck. So that means they can't kill my Farfetch'd next turn, so I'm not going to play any basics out yet. It's not a combination of cards in their deck list. If this was an open deck list, I'd play the Tauros out here. I wouldn't show them the Hitmonlee, I don't think, but I'd play the Tauros out. So Giovanni just straight up counters this copy of blue here, which is really good for us. I'm going to start powering up this Tauros, and I'm going to go ahead and play the Hitmonlee out here, so that way, if they have their one of Giovanni to clear my Farfetch'd, I have something else to put up while we charge up Tauros. If they don't have Giovanni to clear my Farfetch'd, I should have enough time to get this this Tauros charged up. There's only one Giovanni in their deck. There are 11 cards in. Damn. If one copy of Sabrina, so I'll probably want to play out another basic here. Farfetch'd is not bad. Neither is Mew. It's a shame. Well, the Mew's probably too slow at this point. I think it's Energy on Tauros, Farfetch'd, and then Hitmonlee, and we're just hoping they don't have the Gardevoir as their last card, and they brick on it for a little bit. If they have Gardevoir, the game is done, and we can't do anything. So I just have to kind of play like they don't have it. Playing Hitmonlee out doesn't really accomplish anything. If this had been Mew, we'd be in a spot where we could beat a Gardevoir, but it's not, so we can't. Oh, Slab is terrifying. Yeah. They can't knock out this Hitmonlee without side driving. So they're all in on finding Gardevoir next turn now. So if they brick on this 1 and 3, this other Hitmonlee in our hand lets us win the game. They're already through their blue and they have no potion, so even if they leaf this out, they can't Sabrina and Geo. Is there any reason to play this? I don't think there's any reason to hold it. Still have a bench slot. I don't want to show them the Hitmonlee because I don't want them to know it's coming. We just have to hope they don't hit their a little bit less than 1 and 3 to find the Gardevoir. I guess Mythic Slab gives them a redraw. So they have 2 Gardevoirs and then a Slab. Oh, they have a Research too. God, we're so likely to be dead here. We either hit a non-Slab, non-Research, non-Gardevoir card. So they have 3. So they're a little bit better than a coin flip here. It does not, yeah? I have X speed and Hitmonlee. They have to retreat now. And they're dead to the Hitmonlee. Sweet. Really fortunate they bricked on the Gardevoir here. Even without the Hitmonlee, they're in a pretty bad spot because my Tauros would have cracked this for a bunch, but we just end the game on the spot now with the stretch kick. They have first energy advantage again. No Mew for us is unfortunate. I'm gonna lead Hitmonlee. Depending on if they put bench Pokemon out or not, we'll get Tauros going or maybe put an energy on Lee. It's probably just a power-up Tauros angle. Research? Unlucky. Mew is our ideal let's put energies on it in this matchup. Tauros is our second best. Now, the scary part about putting an energy on the Hitmonlee here is the Hitmonlee gets one shot by the Mewtwo plus their Giovanni. Oh, that's... I think with the Mew draw, we just go in on that. And I'm going to go ahead and Sabrina them here to make them have one of their copies of Leaf as well. Just get this set up. The Sabrina, because they're not playing X speed, means they can't clear my Hitmonlee this turn, which is nice. I might want to start powering up the Tauros. It's probably right to put 2 on here before I put any on the Tauros. It could depend on whether or not they evolve this turn too, though. I think I put the energy on the Mew just because putting the energy on the Mew means my opponent can't retreat to the Mew, can't put the Mewtwo EX up at any point until they're ready to knock me out. Research is nice. Honestly, I was kind of hoping to draw Farfetch there. I think at this point, I start putting pressure on them. Spreading out damage on the Mewtwo and the Mew, the other Mew, makes it so the Tauros is more threatening. Because ideally, I want the Tauros to threaten knocking these out in one. Huh. I think because they put this up, I need to put the energy on here. That's close. I'm gonna keep stretch kicking the Mewtwo, I think. I wanna just put a bunch of pressure on one, I think, to threaten to put it down. It could be right to put 1 on the Gardevoir, because putting 1 hit on the Gardevoir makes it so Marshadow with Revenge and Giovanni doesn't get stopped by blue. Yeah, and I think that's the plan here. Well, for starters, I'm going to go ahead and potion this, so that way Mew doesn't threaten to knock it out this turn. If I can get another energy on one of these backlines, I think that would be really good. I'm going to stretch kick the Gardevoir to play around blue a little bit with my Marshadow. I didn't think about this line. Putting both the kicks on the same Mewtwo means that I can't Tauros this one, and now I can't Mew it because they have 2 The opponent played this really well. I messed this game up really badly. I needed to stretch kick this other Mewtwo last turn. Because now they've got 2 set up and I just can't touch them. Yep. If I would have stretch kicked this one, I would have killed them through the blue with this Giovanni, and then this Mew would have been set up to finish the game on the other one when they put it up. I was so focused on playing around the blue on this, I wasn't thinking about them having 2 Mewtwo's ready to go, and I should have been. Alright, first energy advantage. Can I get a Farfetch to start? Man, I don't know who I want to start on. I think it's Tauros. I'm pretty darn sure it's Tauros, though. Pulling him out is tough. This is worse if I find Farfetch'd at an X speed, and I have Professor's Research. It might be right to just lead on the Marshadow here. Yeah, I think I messed up. Ah. No Hitmonlee, no Farfetch to start is unfortunate. No Mewtwo from them? Question mark. There's the X speed. Is this the Farfetch'd? Nah, just Hitmonlee. I still would have put the Hitmonlee up and started kicking, I think. Would I? Maybe not. Yep, stage 1 is great for us. Cards in their deck. We can fade a second research. Is there any reason to play another basic out here? I don't think there is. Don't think there is. I don't think there is. Do this. We're gonna do this. And now I want to play around to Sabrina. So I'm gonna slide a Marshadow out here, I think. Slide a Marshadow or do I slide a Farfetch'd out? I'm gonna slide a Farfetch'd out, actually. Take my knockout point here. And then if they put this up and knock out this, Farfetch cracks this for 40, and then Tauros can clean it up after the fact. But Gardevoir with just this Mewtwo doesn't do it. They could leaf back and knock this out. But then the Tauros threatens to get him. They put an energy on the Mew is interesting because the Mew just dies to Giovanni plus Tauros. I'll play my Mew out, and then we're going to try to avoid the mistake we made in the second game and put damage on both of these so we can threaten a knockout on either of them. It's Gardevoir, but it can't attack. We actually might be in a bad spot if my opponent would have... That's what I'm searching for. If they would have... they would have put the energy on the Gardevoir last turn to be able to knock this out. So now I think I put the energy on Farfetch'd and we retreat this back and we crack them to 110. Because with the Giovanni draw here, I can clear even this Mew with my Tauros if they put it up. And if they have their copy of blue, they could put this up thinking they can protect it from the Tauros. But we have our Giovanni, and they know we're likely to have it. We have 2 of them, and we're 14 cards into our deck. Yeah, I think this is just a concession side drive. They know the ratings on the wall. Really close set of games. Little frustrated with myself. If I lost that second game, but we made up for it in the third. Playing against EX Pikachu with the Lieutenant Surge Raichu package. They've got 1 Zapdos EX, 1 Denene, and a new Electabuzz as their extra basics. I'll lead on Hitmonlee here, I think. No red card or anything to play around like that, so I can hold my Marshadow back in my hand for now. They have 2 Surge, 1 Giovanni, 2 X Speed, and 2 Sabrina. No potions, no red card, no blue, anything like that. On the Farfetch'd opener, I think I just start attacking them. I think cracking the Electabuzz with the Farfetch'd is probably better than Hitmonleeing because they could evolve the Pikachu into a Raichu to save it, and they have 2 of those. An Electabuzz does 40 to anything, even my bench Pokemon. I don't want them to be able to like attack my Marshadow or something like that while I'm Hitmonleeing their bench. Yep, there's the Raichu we wanted to avoid. They notably don't have Potion, so this Hitmonlee gets to claim a knockout on this Electabuzz at any point, essentially, now. Definitely playing Marshadow and putting an energy on it? I don't think so. I think I'd like to get damage on the Raichu. Because if they switch up the Pikachu and knock out the Farfetch'd, I get to go ahead and put up the Marshadow, and Revenge plus Weakness clears the Pikachu in 1. They don't knock out the Farfetch'd this turn. We'll probably put the Tauros up. What are they gonna do? Not attack? Like, not attacking doesn't seem like an option. Okay, I mean, and now the Marshadow clears the Pikachu, and then the Hitmonlee clears the Electabuzz, so I believe we're done here at this point. I'm gonna put the Farfetch'd out just so they can't Sabrina up the Hitmonlee. This is kind of exactly like we drew it up. Farfetch'd Hitmonlee, threaten early pressure, they're forced to knock us out, and then Marshadow gets to clean up when they do. They traded 2 energies and one knockout point for our 1 energy and 1 knockout point, so this is even weak to fighting, right? Like Marshadow is enough to clear here, even without the Hitmonlee. Everything they have in play gets cleared by Revenge here. Alright, so weak to fighting? Sure is. Right, they have first energy advantage this time around. It seems like a big deal. Go ahead and lead on Hitmonlee. See where we end up at. If they have a really aggressive start, where it looks like they're going to have EX Pikachu online on their second energy, we will start powering up Marshadow. So what exactly I want to do and where I want to put my energy is going to depend on where their first energy goes here. Go ahead and chill here. None of my Pokemon need to evolve. There's no reason to commit them to my bench in advance. And if they put an energy on their Pikachu, then we'll probably... Or they put it on this Pikachu and not EX Pikachu. We'll probably... Yeah. Okay, so now we go Marshadow... energy on Marshadow. We play a Farfetch'd out here, so that way, we play Farfetch'd out, so that way they can't X speed and then Sabrina this up and knock it out. And we just pass back. And now if they want to knock out Hitmonlee, they're going to be forced to get cleared by Marshadow again. This card's so good against the Pikachu deck. Just puts them in such a tough spot. And then a single tap from Hitmonlee on the Zapdos EX means that the Zapdos EX also can't come up after Marshadow gets cleared. Trying to figure out how they're going to maneuver around the Marshadow here. Go ahead and just stretch kick the Zapdos. This might be set up Tauros as our next attacker here, potentially. Depending on what they do. Okay. They have no copies of blue, and they have no copies of potion. So this potion is going to look a little bit... No. I guess if I leave the Farfetch'd up, they could clear this with... I think I'm going to X-Speed and put the Hitmonlee up and tap their Pikachu. Because if I leave the Farfetch'd up, they could switch to the Pikachu and clear it with that. And it's really important that whatever they use to knock out my Pokemon be one of their EXs. So that way Marshadow can come up and clear it. I don't want to give them a window to get a knockout with something like this. Because then my Marshadow revenge upside doesn't get utilized. And this stretch kick here means they have to Raichu this to keep it alive, or they have to put an energy on here and knock this out. If they put an energy on here and knock this out, Marshadow cleans this out, and then we get a second Hitmonlee set up as well, with the Tauros ticking up in the back also. All right, so their line to win this game involves them being able to fill their bench up so this Pikachu can clear my Marshadow, and they need to have a Raichu to evolve this Pikachu to not die to this Hitmonlee. You get to go ahead and revenge here and pick up 2 knockout points on the Zapdos. And now they need to clear this and also stop us from clearing this on the backswing. Oh, shoot. Did I need to put the Hitmonlee on the bench? Because I don't have an X speed right now or my Leaf, right? They have the Raichu, so it probably doesn't matter. Oh, they have the Raichu and the full bench. Rip. Played one Sabrina. Played an X speed as well. And playing out the Mew to insulate us against a copy of Sabrina. Ooh, we're dead to Lieutenant Surge with the Electabuzz also here. That's interesting. Not dead to that. Think I'm Sabrina-ing them. Otherwise I'm dead to Lieutenant Surge next turn. Although I was dead to Lieutenant Surge this turn, so maybe they didn't have it. But if they didn't have it, there's two of them in the deck. I'm dead to Surge no matter how we slice it because of the Electabuzz and my Farfetch being at 20. In the event that they don't have Lieutenant Surge, the Hitmonlee is lethal into this Electabuzz next turn. Alright, they figured it out. They must have had it last turn and just missed it, right? Maybe they drew it. Close game. Go. Love to open on Farfetched. Opener is absolutely quacked. Giovanni only does 50 here, so I don't think there's any reason to play a basic out. They put an energy in Peck. We play Marshadow, put an energy. They knock us out. Our Marshadow is ready to go. Same difference here if they put Pikachu up, yeah? As long as we put energy on Marshadow this turn, we're in a decent spot. Mew is not one we're playing out. It basically only comes down in this matchup like we saw in the second game when we're trying to play around with Sabrina. I need to play out another basic here to play around them Sabrina-ing up the Marshadow with the energy. I don't need to show them Hitmonlee at this point though, right? No, I don't think so. So they can't just X speed clear us with the Farfetch'd or they lose the Pikachu on the back crack. The Sabrina we played around. I really don't want to retreat a 20 back to my bench because it's a liability into something else later. It's bad if they have... I'm going to play Hitmonlee out and put an energy on it, I think. We'll go from there. If they go base Pikachu and then retreat and circle circuit it, it kind of short circuits our Marshadow plan, which would not be ideal. It's a really interesting dynamic about how they're incentivized to get a knockout with something less important. So toxic. It's a big coin flip. It's a good one for them to lose. Leaf out here, I think, and crack them with the duck. Getting 40 worked on this means it's dead in one to a Hitmonlee. So if I claim an EX knockout with Marshadow, Hitmonlee cleans up the last one. But an interesting matchup Pokemon Pocket. A lot of bobbing and weaving on both sides, and the dynamic that Marshadow creates really incentivizes my opponent to make choices they otherwise wouldn't really want to be making. There's a knockout point for us. Now, any of these going down loses them the game. And all of those get cleared in one by Marshadow. Because they've filled their entire bench with EXs, even if they have, like, base Pikachu here to clear my Farfetch'd, I can Sabrina up one of their EXs and clear it with Marshadow, and we're done here. So I think the game is over because they filled their bench with EXs here. They're technically not dead on board, but they're dead to Sabrina, and I have 2 copies of that, and they know that, so... I think the only real mistake that I've seen from my opponent from this side is that they probably shouldn't have filled their bench with EXs, but that would have required a lot of foresight to play around this Sabrina eventually. There's also a very real chance that, like, even if they had that foresight, we have both our Hitmonlees, we could have just Hitmonlee'd the Zapdos twice over 2 turns, since they're only on 1 knockout point anyways. Good set. You're playing against a Golem gamer this round. They've got 2 Mankey, 1 of each Primeape, and then 2 Marshadow, so 6 basics out of them. So that's especially noteworthy in terms of breakpoints is that Promo Mankey that they're playing only has 50 HP, which means that a Farfetch'd along with a Giovanni can knock it out in one go. These are really not ideal opening Pokemon here. I'm going to lead on the Mew because we can X-speed that one out, but they have no EX Pokemon in the opponent's deck, so Tauros is just a brick here. Mew potentially has some text. Copying Golem's Guard Press is probably fine under the right conditions. We'd really like to find Farfetch'd as something to start attacking with here. Redraws at that. No no copies of Sabrina for the opponent, so I don't need to play around that. The new Primeape is 80 HP, I believe. Yeah, and it hits for 50 for 1 fighting energy. It's noteworthy here. Two researchers for them is pretty good. They are out of basics, which means other Mankey and other Geodude are 2 of their 4 cards right now. This Reckless Charge means my Marshadow knocks out the Mankey, which seems not great for them. I guess I needed to have X Speed or Leaf, but we've got 3 of those. The only EX Pokemon between these 2 decks is this Mew EX, so generally speaking, these matches are going to end up going to, Our Sabrina's not looking particularly useful here. They can't hit us with Golem next turn. And it's close. So I hit them for 40. They hit me for 40. I hit them for 40. They Golem and take 20, 30 less. I think I'm putting energy on Mew here, but it's close. I think the way the breakout points, break points work, assuming they have Golem on curve here. I also have Potion here, which lets me let Mew play around the opponent's Marshadow Revenge, which is nice. They haven't used yet. Oh, and they're just straight up. Oh, they want to Brock it this turn. I wonder if they have another Brock. We know 2 of these cards are basic Pokemon from their Pokeball failing earlier. I think they're just currently operating under the assumption that they're going to get to clear me with Marshadow after I Mew their Golem, but our Potion changes that. Oh, and this will be guard pressed, yeah. I technically don't even need to do that. Copy it all. All right, they have another Brock. They don't have another Brock. Interesting. Well, I mean, I think I just leave here and clear the Golem before it can clear me. There's no reason to Potion because we're gonna have a 30-point shield here. Right, during your next turn, this Pokemon takes minus 30 from attacks. Yeah, that works how I want. Thanks for that. Thanks for the attack loan. Yeah, we have, says, that's the retreat cost. I have up arrow here. The up arrow is my 30 less damage from attacks, yep. And at this point, I'm going to put this energy on Marshadow, and then I'm going to go ahead and retreat back to this Marshadow, and I'll tap them for 40. These games that don't involve a lot of EX Pokemon have so much more bobbing and weaving. Mew finally being worth its weight here. The opponent is not playing any copies of Leaf or X Speed, so this 3 retreat cost Graveler is kind of just locked in a room with us here. Unless we Sabrina it out, which I don't see any reason why we would. So if they have Brock, they can guard press and clear the Marshadow. But then my Mew with Giovanni takes the knockout through their ability next turn. And when they don't have it, Mew just clears it without the Giovanni. I want a Farfetch'd and a Giovanni. First energy advantage, and for them to lead on Mankey. I want it all. Ooh, just Marshadow lead is not the droid we're looking for here. We have X-Speed and Leaf though, so if we find a Duck or a Hitmonlee, we can swap them out. They are notably not playing copies of Leaf, so this Geodude is very much locked in here with us. If we find a Farfetch, we're in a very good spot. Come on, 2 Ducks and 15 cards. We get Quackin' on the first turn. It's really strong. Alright, that makes Hitmonlee a decent draw. Ask and you shall receive. And the only difference between Leaf and X-Speed in this deck, past the supporter and not, is that our Tauros has a retreat cost of 2. I'm largely just playing Leaf as an extra X-Speed for first turn swaps like this. Prioritize using the supporter here, since they have no EXs and Tauros is almost never coming down. Tauros is both weak to their entire deck, and it's both weak to their entire deck, and they don't have any EXs, so it's gonna stay in hand most likely. They have a potion or a Primeape here. They have a Primeape, they're gonna need a potion next turn to keep them alive. Their Marshadow's not bad. No copies of Sabrina for the opponent, so I don't need to show them that I have this other one just yet. Stretch out and kick this. With no red card and no Sabrina, you want to hold your basics back. This is a spot where if I was like playing a ladder match and I didn't have an open deck list, I would, a random queue match. There's no ladder in this game. If I was playing a random queue match, I would play the Marshadow out because it makes sense to play around red card when there's uncertainty. This Golem's gonna be tough. I think I actually Sabrina them here. So that way, they need their second Brock next turn to put up the Golem and attack now with this X speed. There's no X speeds or anything like that. Brock's their only extra energy, and they already played one of them. We open on research and see where we end up at. They have used their potion already. I kind of need to find my other Hitmonlee so I can get this Golem to a point where I can clear it with a Marshadow. Now I wish I would have put the energy on Farfetch last turn, so I could get Mew going. Trying to form in my brain how I win from here, but I'm not sure that there's a line. Might just be dead. This Golem's tough for us. I need to get my Mew set up early in this matchup, I think, or run them down. And we did not have either of those things happen here. Forget one more Hitmonlee hit on the Golem would have done it. Or them not having potion, actually. Think we're dead. Yeah, I just don't have anything that can survive the Golem. First energy advantage is good for us. Just starting on Marshadow again is not. That's so unlucky. There's a whopping 8 basic Pokemon in my deck. I guess 2 of them are Marshadows, but holy. Hopefully we draw into a duck on one. Yep, let's use the leaf angle again, right? I'm not playing Tauros out. And none of us supporter to do here. 1 potion, 2 Primeapes to keep their Mankey alive. Those each buy at 1 turn. Not buying at anything. Research is easily the best draw on our deck here. If they have the full Graveler into Golem Brock, we're in trouble. I think we're Sabrinaing up the Marshadow to start marking damage on this. For sure. Despiseless. The Mew is our best draw here. And again, there's no X speeds or leafs in their deck. So they're guaranteed to not be able to attack us next turn. I guess that's not... No, yeah, that is true. Because they couldn't put... This doesn't have 1 attack. Well, I guess they can attack with the Graveler. But if they attack with the Graveler, they don't want to attack with the Graveler. Because if they attack with the Graveler, the Marshadow clears it. So they can't attack us with Golem, they can't attack us with Marshadow, and they can't attack us with Mankey. This is the only thing on the board that can attack. And now it cannot. It's a shame we don't have our second Sabrina here. Would have been ideal. Statistically, they have 1 of their 2 Brocks. They haven't played any yet. So what's the sequence when they Brock us here? We put the Marshadow up, we crack them for 70 down to 60, and then the Mew finishes. They don't have the Brock. Well, that means the game is over. Because I have Giovanni. Jeez. Got to use as many guard presses as they did in this match, and it was real good for us. Hitmonlee, quietly the champion with Sabrina here, right? Like, letting us soften this Golem up enough so Mew could come in and get this cleanup here. Really just like all facets of our deck firing here. They've not used their potion yet, so this Primeape could... No, actually, the Primeape's weak to Psychic, so the Primeape cannot live the genome hacking here. Attacks don't have types, Pokemon do. So, the genome hacking punchback is lethal because it does 70 with the Psychic weakness. In the tank, thinking about that. Alright, we're done. Mew definitely the MVP. It's worth its one slot. We're playing in Celby this round. They notably have an Execute, one copy with one EX Executor and one new Executor as a 5th basic. I think EX Executor's actually pretty scary for us. First energy advantage also isn't stellar for us. Do I want to lead Duck or do I want to lead Hitmonlee is a real question. Snivy has 70 HP, yeah? So much. I think I'm leading Duck. I think them leading Celebi is good for us. So the way this back and forth works is they attach first energy. I attach energy. I hit them for 40, they go to 90. They hit me for 50 on average. And then I get my energies on Marshadow, and I'm ready to clear them on the backswing. Although I suppose Erica could put a kink into that. They have 2 copies of that. It's one of the things that makes the Celebi deck scary. Their sustain. I would wager this matchup's probably not great for us. It's one of the reasons I have the Tauros in my deck. That's definitely our ideal first attacker, since Tauros plus Giovanni lets us clear Celebi in 1. If we draw Tauros, we won't even put energy on Farfetch. We'll just invest in that. I have 3 shots at it here. One Tauros, only 25%, right? I have a lot of basics in my deck. So they're Hitmonlee. I think the plan here is hope they don't crack us this turn and then hope they don't have Erica. I think is our best shot here. So we want to avoid the 25% high roll of them hitting double heads. And then avoid their, 50% chance to have their one of their Ericas. Although I guess if they don't knock us out, we get to do another 40 next turn, so maybe that's fine. Because that would be 80. Yeah, we actually clear through 1 Erica if they don't knock us out here. Cool. Opponent has 1 copy of Sabrina, so I'm going to want to play another basic Pokemon out next turn, so that way Marshadow can't get forced up. I think it's Hitmonlee, because I wouldn't mind them forcing this up and knocking it out. So, no copies of potions in the opponent's deck, so if they clear the Farfetch'd here, the Marshadow's going to clear them on the backswing. Wonder if we'll see them start investing in the second Celebi. Yeah, that tracks. If they don't knock out Farfetch this turn, I get to... If they just have an average or another low roll, I get to clear it with the Giovanni, and then the Marshadow can pressure the other Celebi. Is interesting. They know we're on 2 copies of Giovanni, so they just don't want to risk it here. I think I'm putting up Hitmonlee at this point. And I'm going to use Leaf, because the only difference between Leaf and X-Speed in this deck is when Tauros is involved, and I'm not using another supporter this turn. So I think I do this. And stretch kick this Celebi in the back. The question is, do I want to play another Hitmonlee out? So that way if they clear this, I can put the next one in right away. I think I do. The downside to putting this Hitmonlee out is if they don't knock out anything next turn, I can't get the second Marshadow charging up, but that shouldn't matter for 2 turns. They're through 11 cards here, so odds are they have an Erica. It's just, do they have an Erica and an X speed and a superior? Like, do they have all these things that need to break right for them? So Hitmonlee goes down. Marshadow goes up. Yeah, I'm just gonna X speed and take the knockout with the Farfetch'd. I'll start powering up a Mew, I think. Marshadow couldn't clear anything that they had. Two knockout points, but I don't really have a great straightforward way to get our third here. With average Celby variants, I believe we're dead. Such a tease down to the end there. Alright, so now the play is Marshadow. We Giovanni them, we mark damage on the superior. Or sorry, we Sabrina them, we mark damage on the superior. And then the hope is they flip 1 heads out of, they're through both their X speeds. So they'll have to attach energy to here and retreat it. And then if they hit only 1 out of whatever next turn, Hitmonlee can jump up here and get this. This play obviously loses to a copy of Erica, but I don't have the agency to play around that at this point. Well, they can't Erica, so now if they brick on their Celby, we win the game. We just need them to hit a 25%er here. Live, Marshadow, live! Unlucky. Someone's unlucky. It's not us, though. Man, they had to brick on that, and they had to not have their Erica. Got him, though. Definitely. It feels like we stole it, but we take those. Alright, first energy advantage is huge. Would love to open on a Farfetch'd. We get to open all in the duck. To apply that pressure. Hopefully they lead on execute, and we just get a turn 1 Giovanni knockout. Would be sick. We're in the tank here. Come on, be on your 20%er to have execute to start. Snivy. Celby. I think I just want to start putting damage on the Celby. Sounds great. U for 40. This is a matchup where Mew EX could be okay in some spots, but it's definitely our finisher after Marshadow, I think. So even if they have their evolution and Erica, Farfetch'd into Marshadow clears it. They could have double Erica, would be bad for us. Would be not ideal. And now I will need to play out more than one basic here because we don't want the Marshadow with the energy on it to get Sabrina up. Do I want to play the Hitmonlee as well? There's some question on this one because if I draw Tauros EX, I wouldn't mind having the flexibility to put Tauros EX out of the bench in this matchup. Alright, they have their stage 2 on curve. They have their second Erica as well. Alright, we want them to hit average variance here, right? So we can clear this Celby. I don't know how they win after we knock that out. When your opponent is so unlucky they can't knock your thing out for you. Although I suppose, does it really matter? Let's them get another one set up a little quicker, I suppose. Erica doesn't save them from the Marshadow next turn. This could result in them putting something else up and getting the knockout with that, I guess. They could, like, put a Snivy on their bench and then retreat back to it and get the knockout with Snivy. But I have second Marshadow ready to go, so I think we're still okay if that happens. It's a darn shame we haven't drawn. We haven't drawn the Tauros. The turn we wanted an all tails. Yeah, that turn they flipped exactly 1 heads out of 4. Might actually win them this game. We want this one to hit 1 out of 4. Would be a good 1 out of 4 for us to get. What a tease. I think we're just done at this point. It's crazy how them missing a coin in that earlier turn ended up winning them the game. If they would have hit average and knocked out the duck, I don't think they could have won. I guess there's a world where they still don't have Erica, their second Erica, and they low roll this Bloom and then our Giovanni gets them. Unfortunate you can't concede while waiting for the coins to go. This round against Celby unfortunately got cut a little bit short due to a deck registration error for my opponent. They had the wrong execute when they finally played it out in the third game against me, and that was a game loss as a penalty. I still wanted to include the first two games up here because I think they were really close and interesting and were good games of Pokemon Pocket to showcase this deck in that matchup. I also want to say thank you for making it all the way through to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this more focused tournament gameplay, be sure to smash that like button and leave a comment down below letting me know what your favorite part about this sweet brew is. If you're someone that happens to be new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. I showcase off-meta decks, both playing them in the regular random matches in the queue, but also playing them in higher level, more focused tournaments like this regularly. I'm a person who has a history of top-cutting tournaments with hundreds and even thousands of players in other games like Magic the Gathering, and Pokemon Pocket has been my game of choice lately, and I've been absolutely loving brewing and playing those brews in the community tournaments like this video is about today.